Good Monday morning, mamas. I'm Heather Sullivan with Leila Photography, serving mamas in the greater Waco area as a maternity, newborn, and childhood photographer. But I discovered how much I love supporting mamas in their motherhood journey. And so we have the Monday Mom Minute to share with you great topics and resources in our area. And today I'm with Jenny Akin, the director of Noah's Ark Preschool, and we have some amazing things to chat with you about. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes.
So if you guys know any of my story, I kind of have a history. There's a reason we have Noah's Ark represented today. I definitely, my oldest son was at Noah's Ark when he was 1, and Jenny was actually one of his teachers. Yes. And then through the years, I actually ended up teaching there and kind of got my passion for pandas from being the pre-K panda teacher for 3 years. So we're going to chat this morning just about childcare and safety and early childhood education. So just share with us a little bit. Let's start with just your mom. Who are you as a mom?
Yes. Okay. I am a middle school teacher by trade.
Yeah.
And so we got pregnant with our first, and I really didn't want to return to the classroom. So I decided that I would just go with him to preschool.
Yeah.
And so I was able to nurse him there, and I just fell in love with early childhood.
Yeah.
And then when the director retired, I interviewed for the position. And so both of our children I now are 15 and 14, kind of like with Kaden. And so we are, I'm a mom of teenagers now, but they all went through Noah's Ark.
Yeah. So that's what's so fun. We were just chatting about the whole mom of teenagers thing. So, but having that connection to the preschool, setting, and knowing what we wanted as moms in a preschool. So let's just chat. Let's start with, how do you pick a child care? What are you looking for when you're looking for child care?
Absolutely. When a parent calls our preschool, I encourage them to book a tour immediately, even just to get on the wait list.
Sure.
Because it's a sensory experience. You want to go in and you want to listen, you want to smell, you want to chat, you want to do everything you can to walk through. You want to listen to what the kids are doing, and you want to watch what the teachers are doing. You want to chat with the director. You want to ask as many questions as possible. You want to read through the parent handbook. It's just it's a fun thing to do. I mean, don't just call and ask questions over the phone. Go in and go in the morning before nap time, before lunchtime.
That's great.
Watch what they're doing in the morning.
Right, because it's definitely when the most important curriculum is happening and all of that. You'll get a better sense.
Yeah.
Great tip. And so. I know that there, like you mentioned, a wait list. So I think in general, childcare in our area, if you have a good reputation as a childcare center, there's almost always a wait list.
Yes, especially in infant care.
Okay.
There just isn't a lot of it in Waco. I always feel sad for the mamas that are like, I'm going back to work in 2 weeks. You need to call when you're pregnant.
Yeah. Kind of like booking your maternity session.
Yes.
And your newborn session. You need to have advance. You need to be planning in advance. So that's good. So you're pregnant, and you know that childcare is possibly on your agenda in the future. You need to go ahead, come in for that tour, and check things out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's perfect. I know that. I came from, a traditional education, traditional school. And so I came in and I was blown away with the amount of safety that's involved in actually being in a child care center. I was teaching pre-K just like I would have outside of, in a district, but even teaching pre-K within your center, the just the regulations I had to follow, the sanitization, regulations I had to follow. And this was
Yes.
pre-COVID, and I remember we had to, we had these steps that had to be followed. And so there's a lot that goes on in the safety of a child care center that maybe parents don't even realize that those regulations are in place, that, now maybe more so in the school districts, definitely because of the last few years, but they've always been in place at our child care centers. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And that speaks, it's very important to make sure that your child care center is fully licensed by the
Perfect.
Texas Health and Human Services Department. It used to be the Department of Family and Protective Services. They've moved over to Health and Human Services now, but it's the Child Care Licensing Division, and that means that they have to follow this 350-page document that's set forth. They love their paperwork there at the state, but it's for all sorts of safety, and that's where you get your sanitizing and your disinfecting and all sorts of things. There's very, very specific steps for all of that, but there's also things for playground equipment maintenance and snacking and napping and all sorts of things.
Right.
And so a lot of times people will opt for home care, and home care has to follow those, and they have to be fully licensed by Health and Human Services as well. And so you need to make sure there's a website that you can go and make sure, search Health and Human Services and make sure that your daycare that you are opting for is licensed, because if not, they don't have to follow those really important rules to keep your child safe and healthy.
Right. And we'll throw that website up on the video. And so that is so important. I think, because as a parent, that's the main thing we want to know. Is my child safe? Is my child in the safest place that I can put them outside of my own care? And it's just that's always something that we think about as parents. Let's chat a little bit, because here's something else that blew me away in childcare, coming from the district and coming into this childcare center. And I hear this all the time, and I just want to say, you're wrong. That they treat it like childcare is just babysitting. And I as a master's degree coming instructor, educator, I came in and I was blown away by what those the teachers of the little bitties are doing, what curriculum is provided. And I'm like, you guys, this is an amazing place. These teachers, I just wanted to sit and watch other teachers and how they interacted with their students, and the creativity and the education that was happening on the lowest, not the lowest levels, but on the youngest levels. Yes. And that was amazing. So you want to talk about curriculum?
We have, in our center, we have a curriculum. All of the licensed child care centers are supposed to have some sort of curriculum. Sure. Our curriculum focuses on 4 areas of childhood development, which is, gross and fine motor, learning from the world around you. We have really learned, we've really focused more this year on social emotional learning. A lot of these children, even at 2 and 3, have never been in a child care center before, because when they were born, like COVID was happening. And so we were locked down. And so these kids are coming in and they've never been around students before. And so we really have, our staff and faculty is required to have 24 hours of extra training. And so I'm able, because our center is in good standing, I'm able to train our faculty, and we just have such a great time when we get together. But we do a lot of studying and a lot of reading up on things that are affecting our students, which right now, like I said, is a social emotional impact of a pandemic, or of what their little bodies are going through. And so we're really talking about our feelings, which are big right now. Infants, we talk about, trunk development and tummy time and eye tracking and all sorts of things. And so we are able to, use that curriculum to develop something individualized for that student, which I think is my staff, which I just love, is it never ceases to amaze me in that sense. You know.
Oh, know, some of the other educators I met there in my time, you know, and I just know some are even still there, but just I was truly blown away by the level of commitment and passion for what they were doing, and it really blessed me to see that, and it made me realize there's a lot going on in childcare centers that people just don't know. They just don't really realize how wonderful some of those teachers are and the commitment they have to providing care.
It's fascinating to see, you know, the level of commitment and work that you put into a child, and to see them blossom and to grow, and you're like, oh, I'm a part of that. And the families, it's just to build those relationships with them. It's really something. It blesses me, and it's just special. So we did talk a little bit about wait lists. So let's talk about Noah's Ark specifically, so they can, I'm sure they can find this information for other child care centers out there. But right now, I saw, you know, in my Instagram feed that right now parents that are already at Noah's Ark can start the registration process and so what does registration look like for someone who's coming in from outside of Noah's Ark? Let's chat about that. That's super exciting too. It starts April 4th at 8 a.m. It's kind of like a Black Friday for babies. So we get like lawn chairs and donuts. So everybody's lined up a little bit before 8 o'clock. And what I've been telling parents is that they can call ahead, and I will get their email address. And so I can start sending out emails ahead of schedules, just to let them kind of know, like, don't forget, and here's, you know, this is where you park and all this good stuff if you're interested. And but it is ahead of time, and so I hand out little popsicle sticks, you know, kind of like numbers in line, and the doors open at 8.
That is so fun. And you come in and you register.
Yeah, and you register.
So that's fun.
Yeah, but you don't have to stick around. So you can fill out your paperwork, and I put it in a baggie with your popsicle stick, and we process it in the order in which it was received. So, because it is a first come, first served.
Yeah, that's so much fun. And so, I wanted to share that because we might have parents out there that are like, oh, wait, she said I'm pregnant, and she said I need to be starting to think about childcare already. I might need to be there on that day to get in line and be ready to register. So that is fantastic. Well, Jenny, is there anything else that you just off the top of your head? You know, I think that I know, coming from early childhood education, like I just love it. I love that age. And of course, really that's where serving the population that I serve, I still continue to serve that early childhood age, and especially with siblings and things like that I see in my studio. But is there anything else that you would just think would be like a tip or some knowledge that would help parents in choosing childcare, making the decision on childcare, or just anything, or any thought you have on that?
You know, I would think just ask as many questions as possible. And just, you know, befriend your teachers and staff and director and the families that are in your child's classroom. It's a community, and everyone's trying their best. And we're all in it together. And there's something wholesome and loving in that. We're all here, the staff and the director and everything is here for you. And so utilize that as much as possible.
Definitely. All right, mamas. Well, thank you so much for being with us on this Monday. And Jenny, thank you so much for coming in and sharing all your knowledge and help with us. If you guys have questions, definitely I'll put the information where you can reach out to either Jenny or myself, and we can hopefully get those questions answered. All right, mamas. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this morning. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram, so that you can be sure to not miss any future Monday Mom Minutes. We'll see you next Monday.